How's it going, folks? Sorry, it's been a little bit since the last video. Things outside my control. But we're back again, and we've got a couple of flights here. Some of these are a couple weeks old, but the big news was that the dive piece came in. L12 is what it's labeled. L12 is the what I found with the B&M track labeling is that the L pieces have chain lift on them, and that the regular pieces do not. So I think stations have S's, and any piece with a chain part has an L on it. So what we're finding, though, there's 8 more pieces that came in. I think 2 weeks ago, there's 8 more that came in this week. But what we're finding is that the L's, like the actual numbering scheme, L1 through I think it's L10, and then it goes back to 7 and 8 are the turn. And then after 7 and 8 being the turn, you get into, and there's 7 and 8 right there. I want to pause right there on those 2 turn pieces, 7 and 8 for a second, because those are the 2 pieces that we find are the top of the lift. So there's 6 pieces before the lift, and then it goes up the lift through L10, and then you go to 7 and 8, and then pieces L11 and L12, and then back to just piece number 9, which is actually right there on the left. I'll try to zoom in on it in a second. That's the first one after the dive. So we'll come back to here in a second, though. But I think that's what we found so far, that there's 6 pieces before the lift chain. But yeah, not a lot changed over here. I think I was trying to highlight some of it, but these are just station pieces. Yeah, still trying to look for some mid-course brakes, and I've not seen any mid-course brakes or any pieces labeled mid-course brake or anything like that. There's piece 4, which is kind of in a weird spot, by the way, because like pieces like 2, 3, 5, and 6, I think, are over inside the construction area, but piece 4 they kept outside the construction area, which I thought that was a little odd, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Also, I think it's pretty apparent, even from that piece right there, that this coaster is going to go out and turn to the right. I would almost bet on it at this point. Basic supports here. You can see those. That's 2 pieces that go in the concrete right there because they have little stubs on them. Okay, moving over here to the actual area with all the piers. So the correct term for this is piers. They obviously drill these big holes. They fill them with concrete. I'm going to kind of go fast to this to keep this video a little bit shorter this week. There was some rain around this time, but these piers are basically 50 to 70 feet deep. I think the water table's around 80 feet. So 50 to 70 feet deep is what we're finding, or at least I can think so from the rebar. And then on top of the piers, they put a pylon cap, and that's the square boxes that you see right there. I thought it was interesting they put a fence up in the middle of the construction site right there. I didn't understand why they did that at the bottom, but anyway, the pylon caps here. So you see the pylon. You see a lot of the boxes formed up for the pylon caps. You also see some piers formed right there. There's some more rebar sticking up, so there's piers. I think this is the turnaround. That might not be part of the turnaround, though, because I think this coaster is actually going to fly around Spain. Also, it's pretty obvious that's the station right there. They're starting to form up. 2 more weeks from tomorrow, or from today, actually. Yeah, September 11th, 2 weeks from today. But yeah, flying through here, you see a lot of piers, not a lot of pylon caps yet. That right there, by the way, and I think I'll zoom in on here in a second, that is some of the chain link that will be going up the lift hill, I'm pretty sure. At least it appears to be the chain link that goes up the sides of the lift hill, or particular spots throughout the layout. Moving on, though. Let's move up here, and I got some lessons to share with y'all. This is going to be really quick because I'm just trying to get this video out this week because I've been so busy. Life gets in the way sometimes. As much as I like to do these videos and I like to educate, I'm doing this for fun. So all the pieces are here for the lift hill. You can see them all. We did find some of the missing pieces, by the way, that I was thinking that were, I couldn't tell what was what at first. And here in a second, I'm going to pause the video and you're going to see the, see what I mean here. Okay, so this is a picture of Yukon Striker and its turnaround. And I think we're going to get something similar. I think it's going to come out, it's going to go to the right just like this. But I can't figure out this while we have 6 pieces. And I think I only see 5 on Yukon Striker. Also, the base of the lift hill looks like that. There should be a 45-degree piece somewhere in concrete, or actually 47, whatever the lifted angle is, that's, you know, concrete formed, that piece right there, that little piece, will go into. That is the start of the base of the lift hill. That's actually another 20 feet. So our last video, we talked about the distance and everything. That's an extra 20 feet right there, just for that one piece. So that puts us definitely over the limit we were thinking. Yeah, so there's your L2. I think L1's down there at the very bottom. And that gets you all the way up to the top. I think it's L1 through L10 would be the pieces in the first chain. The second chain is L11 and 12. And there's L1, which the cars would be coming from the top of the screen down. That's why the little ramp into the chain is. Okay, so we covered that part. Zooming in on various pieces here just to see which ones are which. L5. Like I said, it's L1 through 10 right there. I think one of those, let me zoom in right here, I think. And we can tell, that's the top. The first piece there on the right is the top of the lift hill. That's the last piece basically of the first chain, which is L10. So then it should go from L10 to piece number 7 and 8. And then after piece 7 and 8 back to L11 and L12. I thought about what I was really fascinated to try to do, by the way, was to scan these pieces with some 3D software and render the pieces and then try to put them together like puzzle pieces. But that's a little time consuming, so I haven't had time to do it. I think it'd be fun to do, though. If someone knows an easy way to scan these pieces and basically make puzzle pieces out of them so we could try to put together the layout. Also, that's 37,000 pounds right there for that one piece. That's a pretty hefty lift, especially because it's going to go 309 feet in the air. Here's L11, and that's the first piece of the chain, the second chain, before L12. These two pieces here are support pieces for split track. You'll see that style support on Orion and on Fury 365. But the fact that we have 2 of them I thought was interesting. And there's only one of those connectors there that connect to the supports. So that will go directly into the ground. And we're going to see that in a second where I think it connects. I think the Immelman's going to have one of those as well, though, because the Immelman being 225-foot tall Immelman probably also needed one as well. So anyway, this is like what day was this? Labor Day weekend, maybe. So real quick circle here. I don't think I even did the whole circle, but just to kind of get a status check of where everything was at. And then I'm going to fast forward until last weekend. So put your comments below. I know the name of the ride here at this point, the working name for those that don't know it, Tormenta Rampaging Run is the name everyone thinks it's going to be. Sounds plausible to me. So I like it. I wanted something unique. I thought that was most important to have something unique and not a retread. So these 8 pieces over here came in this week, and we're up to like piece number 63, I think. Was the highest, 61 through, 63 right there. So, I mean, it keeps on track, right? We're thinking there's 103 pieces. I was thinking last week that would this thing be 4,000 feet, and I think it's going to end up being, it's going to be at least 4,000 feet. There's way too much energy involved here in a Giga Coaster not to go 4,000 feet, and I think it would be a crime if it was an under 4,000 foot Giga Coaster. I think the question is going to be: is this a 5,000 foot Giga? Don't think it will be, but I hope it gets close. So here's a really weird piece, and I really wanted to highlight this piece here. It's part of the piece number 13, so it's like the fourth piece of the drop. And look at the supports there. I believe the cars are going to be coming, obviously, from the left to the right. You're going to have that one support piece there giving the vertical loads. But why does it have two of the connections there in the back? So you have three support connection pieces on this one piece. And obviously the track's getting a little fatter there. The steel's getting a little fatter there at the third cross support brace. But why is that getting so... Why is there so many support pieces on that? I thought this was hilarious. Some of the guys at Claremont Steel with a sense of humor. So if I have any Claremont Steel people watching, I loved it. Feel free to put more little Easter eggs like that. But it was a cool little, throwback to the State Fair of Texas. It looked like it was supposed to be big text to me. Here's another side view of the actual drop piece. And that piece right there is number 9, which is going to be the first piece of the drop. And I would love to see a better view of that piece because you could probably get an angle. You could probably tell the angle of the between piece number 9 and 10. You could probably tell the angle of the first drop. It does look greater than 90 to me, but you guys be the judge. Let me hear in the comments. Number 7 and 8 right there, though. I can't tell which way's first and which way's second on that one. To me, it looks like. Obviously 7's before 8, but which direction the car is going. I think this is going to turn to the left. So from everything I can tell, it turns to the left, but I can't prove it definitively. But yeah, there's your turn pieces. I thought it was interesting if it's turning to the left, that means it's coming, piece 8 kind of goes uphill right there, it looks like. Which kind of would make sense. It would go uphill into the second chain. So that kind of made sense to me. But yeah, I wanted to get a good close-up in on piece 7 and 8. Obviously, you can tell these are part of the turn because of the side supports. Those side pieces there on piece 7 and 8 support the walkway that's at the top of the hill. You can also tell piece 7 and 8 are the walkway because they're not angled at all. They're completely flat. This is just some of the station pieces and stuff. I was trying to see if there's a mid-course break anywhere. So I was checking all these pieces to see if there was any labels or anything signifying what might be a mid-course. But I could not find definitive proof that there was a mid-course anywhere. And they didn't even label some of these. Like that was ST5, I think, but I've seen up to ST7. Maybe the mid-course break just gets a station number, but this one didn't even have anything on it, station or ST or anything. I would point out that one has the eddy current brakes there on the sides, so it's not your typical caliper brakes. So that will probably be a higher velocity piece that you would hit with a little bit more speed, because the eddy current brakes do not work at slow speeds. You have to be going a little bit faster. And there's back to our favorite piece number 103, which I don't think is it could be the last piece, but I don't think it will be. Maybe it was because they're working backwards. And since it was 103 right before the station. I think I'd be a little disappointed, though, if that was the last piece before the station. It has a twist in it, so maybe it twists and then straightens you up, but I don't see B&M doing that. That just seems like too much of a head-banging situation. I don't see this being shorter than Yukon Striker, so... yeah, that being said, I think covered a lot of ground pretty quickly here today. kind of focused more this week, I think, on the pieces than I have the layout and all the supports. Not a lot of footage, I think, of the actual construction area, simply because not a lot's changed. I mean, you can tell where the station is going to be, I think. But past that, I don't think that there was a lot you could really tell. So there's your look at your more track pieces that came in this week. I think we know where the station's going to be. I have to admit those two pieces are 7 and 8. It'd be a lot funnier if they were 6, 7. Maybe a lot of y'all would pay attention more. Maybe if those pieces were 6, 7, right? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But yeah, heading back over to the site here. There's a lot of big support pieces over there in the actual construction area, which they wouldn't have put those over there in that area if they were going to be drilling holes. I will say there's still a lot of rebar over there. You can see it right there. And there's a lot of piles of rebar that have not been broken open yet to make more pure rebar forms. So I still think they got more drilling to go. I don't think they're done yet. That piece right there, though, I do think is part of the station. I think that might be the station hold right before you get launched. And I think they've put the side pieces on there to start doing the hydraulics. That's my theory, at least. So that's the piece that you're going to. That's like the loading platform, basically, right there. I would call that your loading platform. Piece 0, maybe. And I think that's why they're building it up, because they're starting to do all the, not just the hydraulic work, but like the individual, the floor has to retract and whatnot. And I think that's why they were working on that piece right there. B&M's typically, what I've seen, do that stuff before they actually mount it. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap for this video this week. Something quick. We'll fly over the site here one more time, do a little circle. So see y'all in a couple weeks.